Hey friends, welcome back to the Aligned Life-Stylist podcast. I'm Corey and you're here where science meets soul and healing becomes a journey back to who you truly are. So this is a space for the bold, the curious, and for those of you who know that there's more to health than just symptoms. Together we are going to explore all kinds of different things from the connection between your physical body, your emotional well-being, mental patterns, spiritual nature through the lenses of human design, functional wellness, and alternative healing, plus the magical, mystical wisdom that's guided humanity for centuries. So if you've ever felt like your body was trying to tell you something, you're in the right place. Here is where we're going to question a lot conventional thinking. We're going to honor our intuition and we're going to uncover the root cause of imbalance so that you can live with more energy, purpose, and alignment in your life. So true healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. So welcome. My name is Corey. If it's your first time here, I'm so happy you're here. And I hope you love the subject we're going to talk about today because when I started this podcast, the main reason, my main thought was that I want to share with people the things that I've learned over the last almost I think it's been 8+ years since I started having my health crisis. And the purpose of the podcast is to share with you things that I've learned since then through that journey and that I continue to learn because we're here to learn, we're here to have experiences, right? And so we continually have different emotions that come up or old traumas that come up or we're going along on our way and we're like, what the heck just happened? I thought everything was great. And it's because we got another upgrade, right? We got another lesson to learn so that we can upgrade. And it's sometimes that's really difficult. And so we're going to talk about that today because I had one of those and just over the weekend. And um my ultimate goal is to share with you the knowledge that I know that and then the people that I meet so that they can share their knowledge with you. I really feel like we're so confused. There's so much confusion going on the between regular media, the social media. There's so much out there and we're being constantly inundated by stuff. Like things we can buy. Like it drives me bonkers that you're watching a show and an advertisement comes up, or you can go there's a commercial and you can scan the QR code to buy something from Amazon. We are constantly being inundated, gosh, I can't speak, with things that are distracting us. And what that does is it causes confusion. And then when we're confused, not only does it create a lot of fear because we're like, well, I don't know what to do. So now I'm just scared. But it also creates a big disconnection from spirit because we have been conditioned and programmed to depend on the external world for answers. So I want to share a little bit about what just some conclusions that I came to just this morning and what I went through yesterday. And if you've been here before, I appreciate you coming back, and you know that I will always be truthful and upfront. I really try to keep logistics of the people or anything that's not, I don't want to throw people under the bus or bring people from my personal life into the podcast, but I want to share situations with you that help you maybe work through some of yours. So I pulled a card. We'll see what the card is when we get towards the end, but I'm going to give you some tips. We talk a lot about nervous system regulation, and these tips are going to be for that. There are also tips for just disconnecting from the world and reconnecting to yourself and to your higher power. So at the end, I'll give you those. I'll put them in the show notes also. I'm going to give you a couple of journal prompts for you to think about. And if this subject resonates with you, take some time. Like this morning, I woke up. What happens for me, and I think what happens for a lot of us, is that when we get discombobulated and we start to question what we're doing or what our life is or where we're headed or any of that kind of stuff, is we tend to want to like fix it now. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to do everything. We start to get into perfectionist mode. We want to fix everything and get it exactly how it needs to be. And the problem is that that's impossible, number one. And number two, it's still a distraction. And so this morning, I after yesterday, so yesterday I had a super lazy day. I literally slept almost the whole day. So for me, when I sleep like that, it's usually my body saying something's not right. Like not physically, not like it, like usually for me now, it's like something's emotionally not right, or you're off path with something, or it can be energetically, I'm not using my energy right. And so yesterday I had all of these things that I wanted to do and get done. And I got up and I was like in the weirdest funk. And I knew where the funk was coming from. Some of it, there was some things that were causing it. But normally I can just be like, okay, let me work through that and then I'll move on. And I just couldn't. And I got up, I went out on my patio like I always do on a Sunday morning, read, had my coffee, and then I went back inside and I went to bed and I slept for the majority of the day. And then I got up later in the afternoon and just really didn't do a lot. And the first thing I want to say to you is that you should not feel guilty when that happens, because it's like an intervention from your spirit going, hold on a second. You either need this rest or I need you to really have some time to contemplate some things so that you can move forward and get back on track. So for me, it was kind of a combination of everything. And I want to explain that. So, um, I, I have one of the reasons I wanted to do an episode on duality, and if you watched last week, you know that our duality episode disappeared. So we're gonna redo that one when the timing's right. But we always are having these dualities, and I think we've been taught that we have to choose one or the other. And so I've had a lot in my life where I'm like, well, can I do this and still be this? Can I have a good time and go to concerts and all those things and loud music and all that, but then can I be this spiritual person? And the answer is absolutely 100% yes. But because of our conditioning, mine's very much religious programming, bunch of other stuff. Because of that, it makes me question, like I'll get in these phases where I'll question things, right? So a lot of that's been coming up, and that's why I wanted to talk about duality, is to just realize that we have to have duality. There has to be good and bad. There has to be things that make us realize, like, so good and bad is a great example. We wouldn't know the good if we didn't experience the bad, and the good is so much better because we've experienced the bad. So we've been taught from a social and religious standpoint good and evil, and there is a lot of evil in the world, but a lot of what we've been taught was evil is not evil. We've somewhat been taught that the human experience has to be a specific way based on conditioning. And so what I want to talk to you about today is where does your conditioning keep coming up? Because when I did my tarot reading this morning, it came out loud and clear. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the time. So this morning I woke up and I was like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. I know I've been a little off track with my eating. I know I need to be exercising more than I am, which is a lot. I need to be doing it a lot more than I am. And I'm like having all these things, and you wake up and you're like, I'm just going to do it all. And I woke up this morning and I was like, you can't do that. You can ease into all of that, but you can't just go have this day of perfection and skip your morning ritual, because that's what I was going to do. So instead, I got up this morning before the sun came up, went on a walk, listened to an amazing podcast. It was very short. Like in my mind when I was leaving, I thought, I'm not going to listen to anything because I need to connect with my higher power. But oftentimes those connections and messages from my higher power come through what I'm listening to. So I found a podcast that really resonated that was short. And one of the struggles I've been having is the duality of choosing the life I want to live versus the life that I've been programmed is the correct way to live. And that means how I make money, how much free time I have. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. So I'm going out on my walk this morning, and in my mind I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make it short because I want to go back and do yoga, and I want to, get busy with my day. And I'm on this walk, and in my mind I'm thinking, just give me some validation. I'm like, please, please God, show me my path. Tell me if I'm on the right path. Tell me if I need to keep doing what I'm doing, if I need to change something. And I'm walking up the street, and loud and clear, it was almost as if the guy's his voice didn't change when he said this, but it became more. It was almost like he was speaking directly to me to answer my question. And he said, why would you quit doing something that brings inspiration to the world and that makes you feel good? And there was a little bit more to it, but it was one sentence. And I was like, and I had to stop and I rewound because I rewound it and I'm like, is that really in the recording or was that an answer specifically for me? So I rewound it and listened to it again. And I just had this feeling of why are you questioning? Why are you questioning yourself? So I'm telling you all of that because I want you to realize that you have dreams and goals and desires and purpose and all the things built into you. But we tend to question it because it goes against the grain of what everyone else is doing or what our programming told us was right or what's the traditional conventional way of doing things. So our programming, which happened between ages 1 and 7, everything we saw and experienced developed our thought process today. It's all in there subconsciously. And I'm going to do an episode on that. I listened to a really great, one of my favorite books. The author was on a podcast a couple days ago that I listened to, and that information needs to be out. So it's totally different subject. So we're not going to talk about it today. But my point is, but it's about that subconscious and how our body works and disease and all of that stuff. And so the point that I want to make to you is that you're going to have those thoughts come up. I have them come up. I oftentimes, when I meet people that I feel like they have it all together, no one has it all together. Even super, super successful people bump up against walls because we're all here to grow. It's never going to just be like this simple, easy thing. And that would be boring, right? If we didn't have the duality, life would be really, really boring. So went on my walk, got that message, okay? And so I'm like, well, that wasn't enough. So let me go. So one of the things I love to do is I love to get my notebook out and just brain dump. This is how I'm feeling. This is why I'm frustrated. This is what I'm questioning. And as I'm writing, I've said this to you guys before, as I'm writing, the answers start to come in. Or my mind, my conscious mind will go, that's silly. Why are you shouldn't even be worried about that. And so then on Mondays, I usually do a tarot spread. So I got my handy little tarot cards out, and I'm not a professional tarot card reader, but I freaking love cards. Okay, I've done oracle cards for a while. So I want to share with you my tarot reading today because it was freaking spot on. So I pulled 7 cards. First one was 5 of Wands, and the 5 of Wands represents competing energies. Each of the cards represents multiple different things that kind of are similar meanings. But in this reading, it meant competing energies, meaning that what I know I'm here to do versus what my conditioning says I should be doing, we're competing with each other. So spot on with that right there. Like me questioning, where is my life headed? Am I on the right track? What am I doing right now? Okay. So those two things, those were competing. So 5 of Wands is about friction. The Ace of Pentacles is a tangible opportunity, getting clarity with that. And really, it's really also about possibility. Like what you have going on here, you're being guided to do this, but just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it's not possible. So the message was get clear on exactly what are you doing that doesn't contribute to that, and what are you doing that does, and get the clarity so that you can have some focus. The next card was the Lovers, and that was really trusting my authentic self. Lovers doesn't always have to do with romantic relationships. So it was basically saying, this is trusting yourself, and is this right for me? What is correct for me? So I was weighing these two things, and it was like, what's correct for you? It doesn't matter what everyone else thinks. It doesn't matter what society does or what the norm is, but what is correct for you? And when you think of that in your own personal life, when you have these questions that bump up against your programming and you're like, but I want to do that. And you have to remember that everything new, every new idea, every great invention, everything that cured something major in history came from somebody having an idea and then following their truth and acting on it. And we've been so conditioned because the powers that be win if we don't trust that in ourselves. So the more you can learn to trust yourself, which is really what I try to teach more than anything when I'm one-on-one, when I'm in group, is how can I show you to trust yourself? And it's a lifelong lesson. Like I will always battle it because we're always going to have new things that come up that we have to practice trusting ourselves with. So the Lovers card was just saying, is what you're wanting to do correct for you, or are you doing it are you trying to switch because of what someone else thinks you should do? The next one that came up was Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is like movement, get ready, get going. But it's just taking action, but not with urgency. So taking decisive yet clear action. Okay. And then 10 of Cups was reversed, meaning I was disconnected with my truth because of programming. And I was thinking more about what I want or what I should versus what I want. So that again, that old version of my old version of myself was coming up, being like, I just want to keep the peace and do what everyone else thinks I should do and not look like a weirdo and not all that yuck came up, right? So the 10 of Cups was just saying, no, you follow your truth. You and only you know what your purpose is. So go after that. Then the moon reverse came up and it represented fog, like a fog lifting. So again, back to clarity and like just basically saying, Corey, you know what you're supposed to do. So, and then the last one was the Eight of Swords, meaning freedom from mental prison. My choice. Okay. We get so stuck in our mental prison of, it's just so dumb. Like there's days that most days I just do whatever I'm just like, well, I'm just going to do this. And if someone doesn't like it, they can tell me and they can have their opinion. But I'm going to stop midday and do a craft, or I'm going to go on a walk at noon, or I'm going to sleep in a little bit today. I don't get to sleep in very often anymore because my body just won't. But my point in all of that and in sharing that with you is number one, trust your inner self. And if you don't trust your inner self, that's when you need to pull in some of these tools I'm going to give you so that you can start learning to listen to yourself, because that subconscious programming, it's there, it's deep. It's like when you get in a car and you drive somewhere and you're like, how did I even get, like, let's say you're coming home from work. Have you ever pulled in your driveway and you're like, I don't even remember getting home? Because you're caught up in your thoughts or whatever, you're worried about what you're going to make for dinner or what you got to do when you get home, but somehow you make it home. And that's the subconscious. So when you take that subconscious and you think about all of the programming you've had your whole life, especially when you were the most what's the word I want to use? When you were the most impressionable as a young child, you were all about survival. So you picked up what you needed to survive. Depending on how your childhood was, it was different things. But then you watched and picked up from the people around you. This is how you act in a relationship. This is this is how women treat men. This is how men treat women. This is how, this is how I should eat. Like it's so crazy to me when we wonder what is wrong. There's nothing wrong with us. We just have a program that was filled with the wrong information. But we're here to learn our truth, right? We're here to figure out our true information. And some of that programming is good. I'm not saying it's all bad. You have to learn to decipher, we do, what is a true belief system for me? Do I really, really believe that? Like I can take religion, and I was raised in the LDS religion. I don't want to throw religion under the bus, but as I've gone through my own growth, I've realized how much of that is not true. How much of that is for power and control. How much of that made me feel awful about myself and felt like I never could be good enough and that I could never be perfect and that I had to do more and more and more and more to earn my space in heaven. None of that's true. But now, are there parts of what the church teaches that I do believe in? Yes, I do believe that Jesus was a man that lived on the earth that probably performed some really amazing miracles. And if you start going into old Gnostic religion and looking at how much religion and the books have been changed, I challenge you to do that if you're on the fence with whatever religion you're in, is start doing your research. I will always tell you, do your own research. Stop believing what everyone tells you to believe, because you inside know what is true. So again, I'm not here to tell anyone what to believe, to stay or go from whatever religion that you're in. But what I am telling you is that if you have questions, you are allowed to ask questions. You have more knowledge at your fingertips than you've ever had, that we've ever had in history. Ask the questions, do your research. The bottom line is we live in a society that wants answers now, that's becoming more and more lazy, that doesn't want to do anything that's going to be hard work. That's where your growth comes. That's where all the answers come, is doing the hard work. Some of us have that built in. Like, so if I find something that I'm passionate about learning, I could like stay in bed for days and just read about it. Some of us don't have that, but that's why you have other people who are here to learn and have experiences, and then you can just kind of pick it up from them as you go through life. But ultimately, you all have to find your own answers. So, and that goes with anything across the board, anything you're questioning. Are you questioning, what a good relationship looks like? Who's to say that there's one way a good relationship is? What is a good relationship for you? What feels good to you? What you watched and saw may not be what is truly a good relationship. And because of programming and patterning, many of us did exactly what we saw. So again, there's no mistakes because you're just learning a lesson, right? So don't be so hard on yourself. So going back to yesterday, I was really down on myself yesterday because I'm like, I had all these things I wanted to do, and they were things that I like to do. They were like, I had some craft things I wanted to finish, and just some things around the house I wanted to do. And I was really being mad at myself yesterday. But after I got through it, then I realized you needed that. Like, I needed that because I needed the clarity. I needed to be able to go to really just be alone in my bed and like sleep and rest and get in that brain state that was just really relaxed. And then I needed to be able to think through things. And so, like I said, this morning I got up, wanted to get all these things done, and then I'm like, nope, I'm not bypassing the most important part of my day. So I did my journaling and my reading, and then once I was done with that and got the answers that I needed, then I felt like, okay, now I can go on with my day. Will it matter if I finish all the things that I didn't get done yesterday? Doesn't matter. But we get so caught up in that and we get so down on ourselves for not accomplishing so much. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, oh my heck, I only did this and this all day long. And I'm like, but you did something, right? You got a couple of things checked off your list. So if you're struggling with maybe overwhelmed, because I'll get overwhelmed when I have a lot of things going on and a lot to do, and I create that myself. You've got to learn to, especially if you're like me and you're a manifesting generator, stop saying yes to things immediately. Like if you're not trusting your authority, that instant yes, no, and then your emotional wave, you're going to say yes to things and you're going to regret it. You're going to make mistake. You're going to be like, oh, why did I do that? And then you're going to backtrack. That's actually common. It's part of the way that we learn as manifesting generators. But I want to caution you to pay attention to what you're saying yes to and let that authority decide, your strategy and authority decide for you. And then start eliminating the things that you said yes to, no matter what type you are. What are you saying yes to that you just really don't want to anymore? That you just dread, or that's draining you, or that's taking away from your family, or that's taking away from your mental health. Nothing is more important than you physically healthy and your mental health. Nothing, because you can't function without that. You can't have quality of life without that. So please take care of you. And the tips I'm going to give you in just a minute are the things that I think will help you. And you can always reach out to me if you have questions. But I want you to think about where is what you want competing with your programming. Okay, so you have something that you want, whether it's a certain outcome in life, you have a goal that you're trying to reach, just the daily life, what you just want your life to look like on the daily, whatever it is that you want, versus what programming is. So what subconsciously or the people in your life have told you, but you can't have that, or it can't be that way. What on the external world is telling you that you can't have that? What are you watching out in the world that makes you think, well, if I'm going to be successful or if I'm going to be happy, then I have to be doing that? It's different for every single person. And then what internalized limitations are you putting on yourself? Because mostly what stops us is our own internal limitations, which is connected with our belief systems and our ability to see if things are possible. So just remember, anything is possible, right? And I'm still learning. I'm not the expert. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I've made enough growth over the last many years that I'm like, yeah, some of the things that I never thought were possible have happened. And so you're not going to get all the things that you want right off the bat because you have to grow into them. Your higher power is not going to give you something huge because you won't be able to handle it, or you won't respect it, or it'll be too much at more than what you thought it would be. And you may evolve to decide you didn't want that. So remember, you're just evolving. So little baby steps, one day at a time. Hold on a minute, my battery of my AirPod just said it was low. So hopefully it doesn't mess it up and run us out. Anyways, so hold for one sec. I'm gonna do a little pause for just a sec because we're gonna just make sure that this. Okay, so my AirPod, both of them are not charged all the way, and I don't really know why. They must not have pushed them into the case far enough. So I'm gonna get going because I don't want to have it end in the middle. Okay, so I want to talk about a few things that you can do to really start connecting with your higher power, get yourself out of the busyness of life, get your nervous system settled down. What I want you to understand is that a lot of what's going on with you is stress. I'll say this probably in every podcast episode. When your nervous system is ramped up and you're not being true to yourself, though, that's the number one cause of why you're having symptoms, whether it's lack of sleep, whether it's fatigue. The big one with fatigue is going against your energy. If you don't know how your body operates, is designed to operate, you need to figure out your human design. And I'll say this, human design has been life-changing for me, and I love every aspect of it so far that I've dove into with my own chart because it's very, very deep. But also, you have to realize that everything's not 100% perfect. But what I will tell you is that if you learn your type, strategy, and authority, that's going to make a huge difference, and you're going to have to take some time to practice it. So if that's all you learn and you just practice that for a while, it will make a huge difference in your life. But if you are going against what's correct for you, that's a good guide to help you not do that. Or if you're just like, well, I don't even know how to begin or what is correct for me, or even some of us don't even know when we start our journey of healing and finding ourselves, we don't even know what we want. So that's a really good way to start honoring yourself in that way and letting your body guide your decision making. So relaxing your nervous system, connecting to your true self and to your higher power. Those are the three things that are going to be most important for you if you're trying to heal physically, if you've got some emotional, mental stuff going on, or if you're spiritually disconnected, or if you're just living in this state of chaos and fear. Okay? So I'm going to give you a list of things, and you just keep in your back pocket whatever resonates. You don't have to do all these. Some of them you'll be like, yeah, I'll never do that. But I'm going to give you some tips on things that help me that I think are really, really important. If you're just starting this and you're like, my nervous system is a mess, the best thing you can do right now is silence. You've got to get to where you can shut everything off. Now, that doesn't mean go lay in your bed and meditate, because most of us can't shut that thinking brain off to do that until we practice. But you can start somewhere. But most of us do have certain activities that will help us shut our brain off. So getting silent means just get off of your devices, turn off the TV, get off of the social media, quit watching the news. Have a time every single day where it's just you, and even if it's just a notebook. But a couple of things that will help you get silent are for some people, certain music, like if you get a really good relaxing music, that'll help you get into like that theta brain state where you can just chill. For me, it's gardening. Anything touching the dirt, anything outside, that will do that for me. Going in nature, going on a walk, hiking, I can totally shut my brain off. Yoga is a really good one because when you're focusing on the poses, your brain tends to shut off. So the answers are there waiting for you. You just have to plug into them. So just think of all of the answers that you need as you're the little plug over here, the outlet's over here, and on the other side of that outlet are all the answers you need. You got to plug into it to get the answers, right? You got to plug into it to get the energetic connection to what it is that you need. So get outside. Even if it's a few minutes a day, when you feel overwhelmed, go put your feet in the grass, in the dirt, in fresh water, ocean water, whatever you have. Get into that. Don't take your phone with you. Stop carrying your phone with you everywhere you go. My phone literally sits on my dresser plugged into my bedroom probably more than 50% of the day. Because if I walk past that phone, I know my brain's going to go, oh, pick it up and see what's going on. So get it out of your face. And the more you get out of the habit of having technology in your hand, the better it feels, the more calm your nervous system will get. Because it's just holding it in your hand is creating a frequency disruption. Having an AirPod in your ear creates a frequency disruption. So I believe our bodies can mitigate a lot of that, but we still have to make conscious efforts to disconnect from it so that we can connect with Earth. The sun and the earth are your life force energy. You need to have sun on your face and in your eyes every day, and you need to touch the ground barefooted every single day. Okay, we talked about silence. Get a notebook out. If you're just overwhelmed and you can't shut your brain down, just start writing down everything that's on your mind. A lot of us keep lists in our heads, and that creates confusion and chaos in our mind. And so get it out on paper. Get all your feelings out on paper. Just dump it. If you have to do it by recording it, you can do that. But there's something about writing it and getting it out of your head that is very, very helpful. And it doesn't take you out of your head, but it gets the thoughts that don't need to belong there out of your head. Next one is release emotions. Whatever it does, I am not a crier, but I can tell when I need to cry. So sometimes I'll just listen to sad music or something that brings up those emotions that make me sad or feel sadness so that my body can release that, because pent up emotions are toxic. And when you cry, it actually is releasing toxins from your body. The tears coming out of your face, out of your eyes, that is toxins being released from your body. So you've got to cry, scream, rage. I'm going to have a guest on that we're going to talk about raging in a few weeks, but it'll probably be about 6 weeks before that one gets out. But you've got to get it out. So if you have to go out in the garage and scream, if you got to go throw stuff, you got to beat a pillow, whatever it is, get it out. Release the emotions, okay? Talk to a friend. Everyone should have someone that they can just be like, I need to vent this. I need to be able to, if it's a therapist, that's a great thing as well. But having a good friend, and I quit saying this to my clients because I had so many women in my, I'm going to get on a little side note here, and this is coming fully from my heart, but I had so many women that would come in my office and I'd say, well, just talk to a friend when you're feeling overwhelmed or you need some answers. I have a great friend that when I'm frustrated and overwhelmed, she just knows how to ask me the right questions to give me some clarity. And so I would say that to my clients, and I'll tell you, probably 7 out of 10 women would say, I don't have a friend like that. And so I quit saying it, and because it was breaking my heart. But it's been heavy on my mind lately of why. Why do we not have good friends? What is it? And as I've been out in the world over the last several months, and I've been in a place where I'm like, okay, I have to eliminate anything that's not win-win. I have to eliminate anything that's toxic. I have to eliminate anything that doesn't make me feel good. So as I've been out in the world and meeting new people, or even being with people that I love to pieces, what I've noticed is there are some people that come into a room and come into a conversation, and they're great people, awesome people, but they're all about them. And they never ask about anyone else. It's so interesting to me to sit in a conversation with several people and watch who the givers are in the conversation and watch who the takers are. And some of that is in our energetics. Like for me, I'm a question asker. I'm going to ask all about you. I love to learn about people. It's just in me. I'm just going to ask you questions and learn about you. But when I have women that come to me and they say, I don't have friends, sometimes it's because they're stuck at home and they're not in a space where they're making friends. Most of my really good friends I made at work, whether it was an old job, whether it was in this business. I've been lucky enough to meet some really incredible, amazing women. And a lot of them have stayed with me for many, many years. And I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today without those connections. And that's why I really want to impress upon you. If you don't have good friends, are you making effort? So get out into the community, go to a class, join a club, do something that gets you in a place, do something that you love to do, because then you'll find like-minded people. I promise you, the best way to be a friend is to ask about other people. Like it blows me away how many people are like, oh, I'm so lonely and I don't have anything to do, because they don't have anyone calling them or any friends. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Because friendship goes two ways. So I wanted to put that little plug in there again from my heart. You can't stay in victim mode in that. That if you're not having friends and it's a constant thing, you're probably the common denominator. So think about that because we all are amazing people. We all have something to give. We all have something to share. Some of us just weren't taught how to make friends. Some of us aren't the kind of people that are going to be really social. If you're an introvert, you don't need 20 good friends. You just need one. You just need one person that you trust. And that might take some time to find. But right now, one of the reasons that I'm doing this podcast too is to build that community. I want you to have a place to go. My hope and dream is that people will start commenting on this and connecting and sharing. And when I open the Align community, people will meet each other in there. And that's why I do the events that I do, is so that people can make connections with the people that they need. There are people out there waiting to connect with you that are soul connections, people you have contracts with in this life that you made before you came here you need to meet them, right? And we need women. We need good women in our lives. So if you're watching this and you have a suggestion on where you've met some good friends or a way to do that, please put that in the comments, because I've just always had places where I worked where I've met people. Almost every single one of the people in my life as a friend right now is someone that I met through work. So when you're a stay-at-home mom, we live in such a weird world, and COVID really effed it up for everybody. We just kind of started keeping to ourselves. And I see so many women that are just like, where do I go to make friends? So it's kind of like dating. Like, where do you go to meet somebody nice? You got to put yourself out there, but you got to find out what works for you. Okay, that was way too long on the friend thing, but talk to a friend, get a therapist. If you don't have a good friend to talk to, get a therapist. Go to some energy people. Like my energy worker friends, they, because they know they can read my energy and they know what's going on with me. Some of them have become some of my best friends because they're just freaking amazing. They're just great people. So start getting out and putting yourself into positions where you can meet people. Okay. Do something creative. The fastest way for you to eliminate fatigue, insomnia, all the things, is using your energy correctly. So if you are a generator, a manifesting generator, doing what lights you up creates life force energy, and it sustains your energy. So doing the things all day long that you should do, that will cause you fatigue and insomnia. You've got to do the things that make you excited and we all need to be creative. Our source is a creator. We are part of your, whatever you believe in. I'm going to say God. We are a part of God, meaning we have the creative ability that came from him. So we're here to create. Like everything in this world was created by somebody. So don't guilt yourself out of being creative. If you love to do crafts, if you love to do creativity, can come in your business. Like there's so many ways to be creative. Do something creative, because that'll start to move your energy, but it'll also slow your nervous system down. Rest or take a nap. So if you're just running a million miles an hour and you feel guilty for taking a nap, let go of that guilt and take a nap. Even if it's 15, 20 minutes, just go lay down. You will feel so much better if you just let yourself rejuvenate. Since we're talking about types, if you're a projector, you should probably be taking a nap every day or some kind of rest in between a full day of work. Say no. What are you saying yes to that every time you have to do it, you're like, why did I say yes to that? Why am I committed to this? You don't have to stay committed to anything. It's one of the biggest things I tell parents of kids that are manifesting generators. Stop making them follow through. Our society has taught us you have to complete everything you start, which is why everybody's miserable. It's why people stay in a job for 50 years and they retire and then they're like, now what? Manifesting generators especially need to be able to start something and quit it, and start something and quit it, or pivot it. So say no. If you've got something that you're just like, I don't want to do that, and your body's telling you, your body will actually get sick if you're doing things that you aren't supposed to be doing. So trust that. Start finding things that you're saying yes to and say no. Oftentimes, sometimes even for me, it's fun things. I'll be like, oh yeah, that sounds fun, I'll do it. And then I'll be like, why did I commit to that? So my new thing is, if it's not like 100% yes, 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 then I'll let you know. So I think I talked about that last week. Um, what else do I have on here? Exercise, movement. Okay, everyone needs movement. You need movement to get your body flowing, to get your lymph nodes going. You need movement to feel good, but movement is action, right? So getting moving every day creates action. There's tons of different things you can do to move. It does not have to be super strenuous. Just move. Just start somewhere. Start moving. It also increases your dopamine and serotonin. So if you're depressed, exercise will actually help with that. Um, do an oracle card or a tarot card reading. Learn how to do it on your own. Go to somebody that does that. Get a reading. And if you can learn how to use them on your own, that is huge. Because when I'm struggling and I'm just like, I don't even know, I'll just pull one oracle card and it's literally divine information from my spirit guides. Learn about your energies. Okay. That would be human design, Western and Eastern astrology tell you exactly how you're built. They tell you who you are, who you came to be, what you're here to do. And they tell you how your energy works in the world, when it ebbs, when it flows. And so if you can understand your own energetics, that alone will help you make better decisions. And it'll help you honor those times when your nervous system is kicked up and you need to bring it down. Um, Take steps to make the change that needs to be changed. Probably most people listening here, there's something that you know you need to do that you're not doing. You will get sick if you don't do it. If it's written in your blueprint that you made for your life here and you're ignoring that, the universe is going to find a way to get you back on track. And if you ignore it long enough, you'll get sick or you'll have some kind of catastrophe that forces you into it. So you don't have to make the change today, but make the steps to start making the change. That could be a job, could be relationship, could be the location that you live, could be what you're eating, could be that you're not exercising, a lot of the stuff we've already talked about. So what change do you need to make? Say it. The other thing that'll make you really sick, especially women, because we don't say what's on our mind. We don't talk about our feelings. We try to be nice. We don't show mean emotions. We try to tiptoe around what we feel so that someone doesn't like think that we're not being nice. Just freaking say it. Most thyroid issues and miscommunication in your endocrine system, a lot of that comes from you not speaking. So just say it. If you have to start it out by writing it down just to get it out, do that. But get really brave. One of the things, that's one of the biggest things I've had to work on over the last couple of years, and I'm still working on it because my delivery is harsh. So when I want to say it, it's usually in the moment and it's not going to come out nice. So I have to like go think about it and be like, how can I say this in a way that's not an attack? And it's really hard for me. But what I've noticed is that when I say it, it's just this release. Usually to the other person, it's not that big of a deal. But to me, it's just this release. And so say it. Whatever needs to be said, say it. Just say it nice. Sometimes you have to say it mean just to get the point across, though. Okay. Nutrition. Nutrition is such a big deal. And I was thinking about this morning because I've gone so far over to the human design and the energetic side. You still need to know what's happening in your body. If your lithium is low, you're going to be unmotivated. If your vitamin D is low, your hormones are going to be a mess. If your iron is low, there's a good chance you're low on copper. If you're eating a lot of bad oils, electromagnetic frequencies, and even the sun is going to affect you differently. So please, please, please take the baby steps that you need to take to get your nutrition in order. If you're eating a lot of sugar, stop. Sugar causes anxiety. If you wake up in the morning with anxiety, start keeping track of what you ate the day before, especially at nighttime. Alcohol, sugar, gluten can all cause anxiety. So because they're disrupting the gut. So what you have to understand is that when you're in nervous system dysregulation, so you're always in fight or flight, the gut, all of the movement of the gut and the blood flow in the gut freezes up. And if you stay there, it's going to cause you to be constipated. You're going to be bloated all the time. Even that goes back to say it, right? So let's say you're in a relationship where it can even be a great relationship, but there's some things that you're not speaking about your truth, and you just keep holding them in and you just don't want to say it, and you're like, "Oh, this I don't like this person does whatever and it makes me uncomfortable." And you keep holding it in and holding it in. Your gut is constantly being affected by that. Stress depletes the nutrients, the organisms in your microbiome. So between your gut and your microbiome, most of us have issues with our gut, and it's because of nervous system, it's because of stress, and that comes from not speaking your truth or not eating the foods that are going to give us what we need for that, right? So if your microbiome's off balance, you are going to be anxious, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be depressed, because the neurotransmitters, those come from your gut and they go up to your brain. So when those little bugs and bacteria down there are getting fed right, or you're eating the right foods, they create that process that says happy hormones, I feel good about myself, life is good. It affects your hormones on all levels. So if your liver is congested or your gut is a mess, you can't be right mentally, if that makes sense. Like, you're going to have anxiety, frustration, fatigue, all of the things. So get your nutrition in order. You don't have to go on some crazy diet. You just got to start eating breakfast. Start eating breakfast. Probably 92% of the women that I work with do not eat breakfast. And this morning I was listening to something that they talked about not eating smoothies, and I've gone back and forth with the debate on the smoothies, but the reality is when you eat something freezing cold first thing in the morning, it does slow down your digestion. And if you go into ancient Chinese medicine, they, like, even in the morning, drink hot water, like warm water, right? Or drink water with a lemon in it, because you've been sleeping all day, you want to get all of that moving. So if you're getting up and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to work and I'm being so good because I'm having a smoothie and I'm dumping some protein in it," if you're struggling digestively, that could be part of it. The other thing is a lot of people are not they don't have enough of the digestive enzymes to break the food down to get it where it needs to go. So those are just a couple of things that are really important for you to have good nutrition. And again, that's going to affect everything. Remove technology. You'll hear me talk about that all the time. Get off of social media. Stop being on your computer all the time. Some of you have to do it for work. But start paying attention to how much you're scrolling on the phone. And for some of us, we were talking, I can't remember who I was talking to. Oh, I had some friends over, and one of them, they're like, "Well, it's kind of like me. It's like some people like to watch TV. I like to scroll on my phone." Here's the thing. Yes, if it's a checkout for you, but it depends on, and that was what we talked about next, is, well, what are you scrolling through? What are you seeing? Because we weren't meant to see every flood, every murder, every catastrophe that's happening in the world. Our nervous systems were not built for that. So if you're scrolling through, even on Facebook, and crud is coming up constantly, I don't even care if it goes along with your belief systems. If you're like, "Oh yeah, I support that cause," or "I believe that," if it's thrown in your face constantly, every time you read about it, it's disrupting your nervous system. Why would you do that to yourself? So either create a feed that has none of that in it, eliminate the people that post that stuff, take care of you first. You are the most important thing, okay? I think social media is going to be bye-bye soon. I just think we're all really kind of getting sick of it. So, and if you follow me and you're not subscribed to Substack, please go subscribe to my Substack on Align Life-Stylist, because I am going to get off of social media. It just becomes more louder and more clear that I just need to not be on there. It's a time suck. I love it for a lot of things, but the cons very much outweigh the pros. So remove technology. Don't have an AirPod or headphones in your ear constantly. Even if you're listening to positive things, it's still a disruption to your frequency. You have a specific aura and a specific frequency that is just yours. And when you're on top of the world, you feel great, you're happy, you want to give, you want to receive, life is good, you're in your frequency. But you've got things bombarding that frequency all day long, every single day. And so be conscious of the things that you get to choose. Like look at right here while I'm sitting here, I have a light ahead of me. I got a microphone plugged in here. I've got a computer in front of me. I've got an AirPod in my ear. My phone's over here. There's stuff plugged in all around me. Like I'm in a box of frequency disruption, right? So as soon as I'm done, I will go out and walk in the grass because that will, to me, that dissipates it all and I'll unplug everything. So just take steps to mitigate the frequency. We're in a world that's got it's everywhere. And if you are eating bad, it's going to affect you even worse. But you've got to have breaks from it. You've got to realize we lived for millions of years without it. And all it, in my opinion, technology's just made everything take longer and it's made us more confused. So it sucks because there's certain things that we absolutely have to get on a phone or computer for. But even reading a book, like I cannot have a device to read off of. Like I just never have been able to. I love holding a tangible book. So it's little things like that. The digital things seem so cool because we can have it in our pocket and you can have your Kindle or your iPad and you can read books on there. It's not good for your body. So whatever things you can do old school, do it old school and try it and see what happens. I promise it'll change how your nervous system is reacting. And then the last thing is get off of autopilot. Most of us wake up in the morning and we're on autopilot and we're just like, do. Alarm goes off, jump up, whatever, whether you have your coffee, you just hurry up and shower and get ready. Then you get in the car, go to work or get to the kids or whatever, all of that is. And it's like, and then the end of the day comes and I feel like time is flying by. And you're like, what did I do today? And for most of us, it's just the same thing every single day, and then we wonder why we're depressed because we weren't meant to just do the same thing nonstop, right? So change it up a little bit. Find something, get up at a different time, get up 15 minutes earlier, start a morning ritual. Start your day in a way that sets the pace for the whole entire day. Go on a walk, be out in nature, whatever you can. If you do two things in the morning, eat breakfast, take 15 minutes to have your little morning, whatever that is. You can walk around the block in 15 minutes, okay? So find some things to do that take you off autopilot. Drive a different way to work. Stop somewhere you've been wanting to stop on the way home from work. Whatever it is, whatever your version of change, just get off the autopilot. Start to do something a little bit different. That creates that movement and that action that'll help you start to make the other changes you want to make. Okay, let's get to the card because I don't want my battery to run out. And I'm going to read this and we'll see how it relates. So this one is Close Encounters. It's a beautiful cage with two beautiful butterflies and lots of sparklies. I don't know if those of you guys watching it. If you want to watch, go on to Substack. My light makes it hard to see. If you want to go on and watch the video, sometimes I pull up human design charts, so sometimes it's good to watch. You can watch on Substack if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or one of the other platforms. Okay, so Close Encounters. The key concepts are vulnerability as a strength, letting others see your wounds as well as your strengths, setting healthy boundaries. This is a time of connection that asks for you to be vulnerable and authentic. Let go of any social masks or constructs you use to keep yourself apart from others. Lower your shields and allow yourself to step into the dance of intimacy. When you become close to people, you remind yourself that you are not alone. You're part of a beautiful, meaningful bond. At a deep spiritual level, there are so many lessons offered to you in this closeness. At a social level, intimate relationships help you ignite the spark of life that is the power of affinity. You flourish as a result of offering emotional honesty and true desire for equality, love, friendship, or laughter. We aren't meant to be alone, yet sometimes we are wounded and we build walls around ourselves so we don't get hurt again. It's time to be honest about yours and step out from behind that barrier and engage in all of life. This is a beautiful opportunity to allow your vulnerability to be your strength as you choose to live in integrity and without artifice. Artifice? I'm going to have to look that one up. Oh, artificial, without being fake. Okay. Even in your work life, this mode of connection allows you to be truly present. When you live this way, everything and everyone thrives. You have no need to defend yourself when you're being truly and utterly you, empowered by your raw openness and willingness to be seen. In this way, your close encounters will not fail you. There is much to celebrate when you stand eye to eye, shoulder to shoulder, sharing your heart. I love that. When I started this out, I really wanted to be vulnerable about what my day was like yesterday because I was struggling, man. But what I think is really important is I think that being all of the things that happened during COVID really messed with us. A lot of us stopped making connections. We got afraid to go out of the house. It's almost like we have to relearn how to be social. And then what's also happened is that as the energetics of the world have shifted, we've become more sensitive. And so when you're out and about with people, we all have open sensitivities to certain emotions, whether it's, I've talked about this before, whether you pick up people's thoughts, whether you pick up people's emotional stress or sadness, whether you pick up people's fear, whether you pick up people's projections and you just feel everything. I've experienced this where it's made me just want to not go out. Like, I'm like, I don't want to go out because I feel like everybody's just taking a piece of me. Okay. That's my projection of what the world looks like. So when I go out and I'm protected and I know that there's people out there that I'm supposed to meet, and I go out with an open heart and an open mind, but also with my protection, right? I meet incredible people, but it doesn't happen if I don't get out and kind of let my guard down, right? And so if you're going out and you've got a guard built up, I've met a lot of women that are like, I just don't trust women. That's an old story. Like if you're struggling, back to the friend thing, I've met several people that are they can't connect with women. And it's so weird. And even like try to be really inclusive and stuff. And they have this weird wall. And so for me, I'll just go, well, it's not a match. So I can't keep on, beating a dead horse. But if you're that person, you've got to get to the bottom of where that started because that's not every woman. Every woman's not out there to be mean to you, attack you, belittle you, make you feel bad. It's your issue, right? So I really want to make that clear that we all have times where we're like, ugh, I have to go out and be in the world and it's yucky. A lot of that's your own energy. That's your own projection. That's your own where you are in your life. You get to choose that, right? That's why I'm always like, don't say yes to something that you don't want to say yes to. I'm not telling you to be friends with everybody or to whatever. But don't let something old from the past stop you from being a little bit vulnerable because there are people out there that you're supposed to meet on this journey. And if you hide, you're going to miss out on some really amazing connections. So hopefully that was helpful. The cards I got that from is the Oracle of the Seven Energies. I'll put the link in the podcast. They're actually on sale right now. I'll put the link in there. I saw they're only like $22 right now, and I think they're usually like 30. So go get those. If you're struggling, I just read the best book, and I'll put this in the link too. I read this book in 2 days. When I find a good book, man, I can't put it down. And this is called Into the Magic Shop. I'll put the link in the show notes for this too. If you're struggling with meditation, manifesting, trying to just figure it all out, this is a really good book. And it's written by James Doty, and he's a doctor. And it's the story of his childhood, but he's the best storyteller. And he tells about, well, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Just go get it. Like if you're just like, I just need some help with like connecting to what it is that's out there for me and what I want, this book is amazing. And it's kind of like if you've ever read The Midnight Library. If you haven't, okay, let's put that in there too. I'll put the Midnight Library link. Midnight Library is a fictional book, but it's written so well, and it's got the best message that you are in the life you are supposed to be in. That if you changed one single thing, if you took one person out of that life, it would completely change the trajectory of your life. So you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That book is a fictional book, but it talks about that. So I'll post that in there. But the reason I brought that up is because this book reminded me the way he tells the story of his true life and the situations he goes through as a surgeon sound fictional because they're just written so well. And then he ties it into learning and just a whole lesson. And it's so good. So if you need a good book, I love a tangible book, but if you want to just get it on a Audible, you could do that also. Um, I don't know. If you're going to the beach or a pool or something, get the real book. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Have a fantastic week. Thank you for being here. I hope I see you next week. And then I hope I see you in the Align group. We have a Your Body is the Oracle class coming up at the end of the month. That is free for anyone who joins the Align membership, but it's only $22 if you don't. So get on and register for that. I'll put the links down in there as well. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. If you're new, I hope you'll come back. And please reach out to me if you have any questions. My mission is to help you just feel good, like find yourself and be okay with who you are. So if you just have a question and you're like, I need some direction, I will happily answer that for you. So please reach out if you have any questions. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.